These are the 10 best Homer and Bart episodes. Bart gets his revenge on Homer by plastering his face all over town, which results in Homer becoming Springfield's laughingstock. The exit through the Quickie Mart starts with Homer getting Marge a birthday gift.
And brace yourself, I put some thought into it.
Okay, wow, this is happening. Stay calm, everybody. Homer got her a food-cutting kitchen appliance, and he wants to take it to get it signed by the lady posing on the box. He gets it signed, and the lady offers to call up Marge and say happy birthday while going live in the studio.
Oh my god, this might be a Marge's birthday where I get sex!
Homer's priorities are as clear as ever, turning Marge's birthday into a self-improvement opportunity for himself. It's the day of Marge's birthday, and she's opening presents, each better than the last. Bart got her a bunny like she had when she was a girl.
Oh, Bart, you got me the fluffy pet I've never stopped thinking about.
Bart's thoughtful gift just got a big hiss of disapproval. Guess someone's sleeping with one eye open tonight. Lastly, Homer wants to give Marge his present, but first, she has to get the phone call. Unfortunately, the call doesn't come.
This yoke-separating camera hog was supposed to call you and say happy birthday from her show!
I guess Homer won't be getting lucky tonight after all. Homer wants to call Paula to give her a piece of his mind when he realizes that the phone isn't working.
What you threw? What could have...
Of course, the blame goes straight to Bart since the rabbit was his present. Lisa calms the situation by reconnecting the phone and playing Paula's message. It turns out, Paula isn't the smartest cookie out there since she kept calling time and time again.
Screw you, Marge Simpson! Don't read my books and don't make my recipes! May my curse follow you beyond the grave!
Looks like Paula's got more beef than her cookbook recipes. Guess Marge's birthday came with a sign of eternal vendetta. Homer gets really angry and starts yelling at Bart for ruining Marge's birthday.
No, Homer, you can't strangle a boy on his mother's birthday. Juries hate that.
Homer's rage may know no bounds, but even he has to draw the line at a birthday strangling. Priorities, people. Homer wants to punish Bart in some way, so he locks him in the rabbit's cage.
Get in there.
The next day, Homer apologizes to Bart, but Bart can hold a grudge. So he makes a stencil of Homer's face and plasters it all over town.
Wait a minute. That guy on the poster looks familiar. Don't just stare back at me. Come up with a theory.
Homer, your dumbness amazes me every time. Bart's work is acknowledged by some street artists, and they offer him to showcase his work in a gallery, which he accepts. But he still doesn't want his dad to know that it's his face all over town.
Look at me, I'm Mr. Fatso. It's funny because it's so preposterous.
No, it's funny because you don't realize it's you. Milhouse runs into them and shows Bart a flyer announcing the gallery opening, but Bart quickly shoves him aside so Homer won't see anything. But he doesn't know that Homer can still hear them.
What? No, it can't be! Your son's made a fool of you in front of the whole town.
Homer realizing he's been duped. The ultimate plot twist he didn't need, courtesy of Bart and Milhouse's not-so-stealthy operation. Bart wakes up in the middle of the night to Homer strangling him, but he quickly stops.
Oh, what's the use? When a man isn't a hero to his son, he's nothing.
Poor Homer. I never thought we'd see him so hurt by one of Bart's pranks. Everyone shows up to Bart's gallery opening. Everyone but Homer.
I can see how this show might not be to his liking.
Yeah, looking at his head coming out of a horse's ass might not be the way he wants to spend his evening. Bart comes out to try and get Homer to come inside, but he won't do it.
I want to show you I understand how you feel. And they say a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Bart draws an apology on Homer's car, hoping it would cheer him up.
You just ruined my car.
Correction, it's worth 10 times as much.
$500? Woohoo!
If making Homer happy costs only $500, I guess that's a small price to pay. Bart reassures Homer that if anyone laughs at him, they'll have to go through Bart himself. But in the end, it turned out the whole thing was a sham, and the police department wants to arrest Bart for ruining the town.
I believe I have the answer in the back of my car.
There you go. Thanks for coming out.
I guess the cage wasn't such a bad idea after all. Homer can never decide between awful punishments, like the cage, or overpraising his son. Dude seriously needs to learn some balance. Homer becomes Bart's football coach, and he favors him in front of everyone, even though Bart sucks. Bart Star opens at a health fair, and apparently everyone in Springfield is overweight, even the children.
I'm comfortable with who I am.
You're a disgrace to his family.
Wonder where we got that from. Homer tells Bart he is to start training football and get into better shape. But when he sees how much the team loves Flanders and his coaching, Homer gets jealous.
Big deal. I've been carried out of mows like that hundreds of times.
Yeah, I don't think that's quite the same, Homer. Homer bullies Ned into quitting, and Ned makes him the coach, which Homer takes really seriously.
I'm tired of watching you dog it on that football field. From now on, I'm gonna work you like a dog. Now go fetch me 20 laps.
Marge tells Homer he shouldn't treat Bart that way and reminds him of how he felt when his dad had no faith in him.
My father never believed in me. Well, I'm not gonna make the same mistake.
Yeah, we'll see about that. For some reason, I am not confident in Homer's ability to have anything but bad words for Bart. Homer wants to make sure that Bart knows his work is appreciated.
Quit running, son. I just want to give you a big hug.
It's gotta be a trick. Run like the wind.
See, even Bart doesn't believe it. Homer goes too far in his support and makes Bart quarterback, even though he doesn't know how to play it. Plus, Nelson was already good at that position. Bart feels bad, and he wants to make sure that Homer doesn't favor him.
Nelson's a great quarterback. He's carrying this team.
Not anymore. From now on, you're my main man.
Homer's coaching philosophy: favoritism over fundamentals. Bart's about to learn quarterbacking the hard way. Homer starts telling Bart that he can do anything he wants and that he believes in him, but Bart is growing suspicious.
I have total faith in you.
Since when?
Since your mother yelled at me.
At Bart's first game as quarterback, he fails miserably, but Homer's there to lie to his face about him doing great.
Excellent boy, son. You panicked, but you didn't lose your cool.
Yeah, but he lost his dignity. Bart doesn't want the team to hate him, but he also doesn't want to fail Homer. So he lies about being hit by a car so he doesn't have to play the next game.
I have total faith in you.
You don't get it, do you? I don't want to be your stupid quarterback. I quit.
Bart's plan to dodge responsibility hits harder than any linebacker ever could. Homer is disappointed in Bart for quitting, and he can't deal with it. So he starts blaming Marge, because, well, I don't actually understand how this is her fault.
I didn't raise him to be a quitter, Marge. It must have been you. You've quit every job you've ever had.
Classic Homer logic. When in doubt, blame Marge, because being the glue of the family clearly makes her the problem. Homer's team wins the game without Bart, and when all the kids leave home with their parents, Homer is left alone.
Well, Bart, looks like it's just you and... Oh.
Nothing like a victory to remind Homer he's on Team Lonely Dad. Homer realizes his mistake and goes to apologize to Bart.
If you forgive me, I promise I'll never encourage you again.
Homer's heartfelt apology, trading dreams of glory for promises of neglect. They make up, and Homer gives Bart his old spot on the team. The cops come for Nelson. Homer realizes he's going to lose his quarterback, but then Bart steps up.
It's okay, Dad. I can fill in for Nelson.
Are you sure, son? I knew I could count on you.
Yeah, Bart taking Nelson's spot in jail. Bart steps up for the team, and Nelson steps up to the squad car. Almost. A true team player in every sense. But being a team player isn't always the best option, especially when you invite your team to spend the night, and they overstay their welcome. Homer and Bart start working at the carnival and befriend another father-son duo, but things don't end up working well in the end. Bart Carny starts with the family going to a carnival and Bart ruining one of the main attractions, Hitler's car.
You wrecked Hitler's car. What did he ever do to you?
Do we need to start listing things? Bart has to pay for the damage, but how will he do it if he has no money? So he and Homer start working at the carnival, but it's not really how they imagined it.
Oh, this isn't fun. Maybe if you didn't go to the bathroom so much, you wouldn't be so small.
Bart learning that work can't always be fun is very fun to watch. They replace another father-son carny duo for the night, but then Chief Wiggum comes about some complaints that the game is rigged. But we all know that Wiggum is corrupted.
I'm looking for my friend Bill. Have you seen any Bills around here?
But Homer is too oblivious to get what Wiggum is getting at, so he tries again.
The guy I'm really looking for, wink, is Mr. Bribe, wink, wink.
It's a ring toss game.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Wiggum closes the stand and takes it away, so the other carnies are left homeless and jobless at the same time. But Homer won't stand for that, so he invites them to stay at his place.
Why did you shatter just now, Mom?
I don't know.
Marge might not know what's happening yet, but she sure feels it in her bones. When she sees who Homer brought to their home, she starts grilling him about it. I mean, they aren't the nicest company to have around. Spud teaches Bart how to steal, and he shows off his new ability in front of Marge.
Hey, my pearls.
Spud taught me that.
Good one, Spud.
Marge better start hiding her emotions better, because she doesn't want to mess with those savages. But the carnies show their gratefulness by giving the Simpsons tickets to a boat ride. Marge is very surprised by this.
Now who's the filthy sleazebag, huh, Marge?
The family realizes that their new guests may not be as bad as they thought. Until...
That's weird. The key doesn't fit.
Hey, someone's boarded up our windows.
Uh-oh.
They're squatting in our house.
Well, what did you think was gonna happen? They were homeless, jobless, and you gave them a place to live. But Homer's not gonna give up that easy. He thinks of a plan that will ensure they beat the carnies at their own game.
One game of ring toss. If I can throw this hula hoop onto the chimney, you'll give us our house back.
Seems too bad to be true. How did Marge ever agree to this? Cooter agrees, and him and the boy come to see Homer's ring toss.
Oh, I can't watch.
No!
Oh my god, he actually had a good plan. Excellent one, Homer.
Well, there's no shame in being beaten by the best.
But he didn't seem all that...
We were beaten by the best, boy.
Looks like someone can't bear being a loser. The family is back in their home with a few things missing, but still in their home. Bart is amazed by how Homer outsmarted the carnies.
Way to go, Dad. You actually outwitted someone.
I guess your old man is smarter than you thought.
Homer and Bart, proof that when it comes to outsmarting people, two heads might not always be better than one. But it sure makes for a fun mess. While on the topic of outsmarting, or dare I say, scamming someone, Bart and Homer scam people for money until they meet their match. The great money caper starts with Homer having to repair his car, but like always, he has no money. Bart steps up to help him since his magic tricks have been getting better. Or so he thought. After seeing that they only earned 60 cents, Homer gets angry, saying he would have earned more money if he went to work.
A good son would come through for his dad.
Yeah, and a good dad wouldn't miss his son's Little League games.
Bart's right. Homer should have been at the game, but instead, he's just mad Bart's magic tricks aren't making his problems vanish. They have a fight and Homer leaves Bart in the middle of the street to walk back home. People take pity on him and give him cab money so he can get back safely.
Who gave you all this money?
People, I guess they thought it was a charity case.
Bart's got the charm, apparently. People see him stranded and decide to make it rain. Cab fare, that is. Homer gets the brilliant idea to make people think Bart's a charity case so they can get more money.
But wouldn't that make us con artists?
Yes, but Homer manages to convince Bart it's okay, because God conned him out of money for the car repair.
So, in a way, we'd just be balancing out the universe.
Poor Bart. He doesn't even have a chance of growing up to be a fair citizen. They start scamming people in all sorts of ways and preying on their empathy, so they quickly earn money for the repair. But Lisa starts getting suspicious.
I don't know, Mom. I think they're up to something.
Marge, on the other hand, says it's good they're at least spending time together. Lisa's got her detective hat on, but Marge is too busy enjoying the family bonding to notice the scam fest in progress. Classic Bart and Homer teamwork. Bart doesn't understand why they're continuing with the scams even though Homer paid for the repair. But Homer says he thought of some other injustices he's faced in the past, so this is balancing it out.
Now, you weren't home, so we had to pay the delivery man.
Well, I'll just reimburse you right. Wait a minute.
Oh, finally someone sees through them. Hopefully Bart will get out of the scamming business now. But no, Grandpa wants to join in on the fun and teach them his old scamming tricks. He takes them to a place where their tricks will be most appreciated.
I don't know. Fleecing old people?
Let's dust a few fossils.
Great example you're setting here, Homer. Just great. They scam everyone in the old folks' home for $100 each. But they didn't see one thing coming.
Hold your horses, I'll get to you. FBI, you're under arrest for fraud.
Turns out the only thing they couldn't scam was the law. Looks like Homer and Bart's get-rich-quick plan has hit a snag. The FBI officer lets them turn themselves in, but Homer thinks of a plan to scam him. He asks Chief Wiggum if he could show Bart a prison cell, and they go in.
Excellent. I guess I'll just be swiping your car now. So long, suckers.
That's not an FBI badge.
How does it feel being scammed? Not good? That's what I thought.
You were carjacked in the church parking lot?
Couldn't think of a more believable story now, could ya? They described the man who took their car as a tall, bushy-haired foreigner, so when Marge calls the police, they arrest Willie. I mean, he does fit the description. Willie is sentenced to 10 years in prison, but Homer won't say anything.
Dad, tell them.
When the time is right.
And I suppose that's never. Willie goes nuts and pulls a gun on everyone, but Homer still doesn't say anything. Only when he shoots Skinner does he come clean, but not without taking Bart down with him.
I lied to you all. So did Bart.
But then, even though the situation couldn't have looked worse, something unexpected happened.
Okay, players, that's a wrap.
Wait a minute. This whole thing was a setup?
Looks like Homer and Bart's luck just turned. Who knew Marge's scam would be the plot twist of the century? Even the carjacker was just a paid actor.
I know it seems far-fetched, even insulting to your intelligence.
But before she could finish the sentence, for some reason everything was forgotten, and everyone went surfing? Why? 'Cause it's The Simpsons. Yes, sure, Homer does have a lot of bad ideas that may not influence Bart in the best way, but he also has a lot of great ideas, and after all, he is doing everything for his children's happiness, even though it sometimes brings him great physical pain. Homer wants to prove to Bart that he's a capable father, so much so that he risks his own life. I, annoyed grunt, Bart, opens with Bart asking Homer for a new bike, but when he says he can't have it unless his old one isn't working, Bart instantly has a not-so-bright idea.
Boy, I'm really gonna miss you. We've really had some great... Ooh, a Mercedes!
Nothing like a fresh new Mercedes to crush an old bike. Homer and Bart go to the store to get Bart a new bike, but Homer won't pay for the assembly fee, so he decides to assemble the bike himself.
Man, this is so confusing. What the hell is this? Oh.
Homer should really learn that paying for something will bring him greater peace than not spending money. He manages to build the bike, but when Bart goes to try it out, it falls apart and he's embarrassed in front of the bullies. Homer wants to make up for not being the best handyman by entering a father-son robot building contest/rumble where robots fight each other. But Bart's not too confident in Homer's ability to actually build something.
My son thinks I'm an oaf.
Bart's doubts sting, but Homer's determination is stronger. Will it be a father-son bonding win or another epic fail? Homer wants to prove to Bart that he is a good handyman, so he tries to build a robot, and he fails miserably.
I could quit now, but then my son will never look up to me. Oh, why was I born a dad?
Homer's handyman skills may be non-existent, but his dedication is unmatched. But even though he isn't really handy, you must admit Homer is very creative. He comes up with a plan where he'll be the robot. He'll only make the robot structure and be inside of it for the fight.
Dear Bart, if this robot doesn't prove I love you, then you can both go to hell.
At least he's being honest about it. Bart is impressed by Homer's skills, so they enter the contest and Homer is faced with his first opponent.
Doing it for the boy. Pain is love. To bleed is to care.
Homer, maybe next time try to do something a bit less extreme to show your fatherly love. But the payoff is way greater than the pain.
This robot's the greatest thing you've ever done for me.
Homer may not have built a perfect robot, but he sure built an even stronger bond with Bart. And that's the real victory. But Homer didn't realize he wouldn't be able to keep going like this forever. His next opponent is a far greater enemy than he's able to take on.
Our robot can kick that robot's ass, right, Dad? Dad?
Yeah, I think Homer's gonna need a bit more time to process what he just witnessed. Homer realizes he needs to come clean with Bart unless he wants to, literally, lose his life. But then Jimbo and his crew come over to look at Bart's cool robot, so Homer has to come up with something else to say.
If anything happens to me, I want you bullies to take care of my boy.
That's a bit morbid now, isn't it? At the Rumble, Homer loses the first round, and almost his life, and Bart goes to check if everything's alright with his robot.
Dad?
Yep, nothing says Homer like his butt crack. Homer comes clean about everything.
You risked your own life, even though you're the sole provider for a family of 5. I am the luckiest kid in the world.
That's the best thing Homer could hear right before he's taken to another round and almost smashed to death. In the end, everyone sees that Bart's robot is actually a man and the fight is over. Homer asks Bart if he ever suspected it was him, and he says he noticed the disappearing, but that's nothing new when it comes to Homer.
I like you, son.
I like you too, Dad.
And all it took was risking one's life. Bart and Homer are far more alike than they'd like to admit. That's why they work so well together. Things would be looking a lot different. Homer is hypnotized into thinking he's 10 years old, so he and Bart become best friends. Bart's new friend starts with the family going to a circus and Homer being hypnotized into thinking he's 10 years old.
You're 10 years old.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
So, is 10-year-old Homer saying this or 40-something-year-old?
Only a 10-year-old boy could be this annoying.
If he truly thinks that, then he hasn't met the real Homer. But before he can snap Homer back, the police barge in trying to arrest the hypnotist, but he escapes. So, Homer is stuck being 10. They take him to the doctor who tests if his mind has been affected.
Ew, gross.
What did you give him?
Beer.
Not possible. Homer being disgusted by beer is like Bart being disgusted by candy. Just impossible. The doctor explains that under no circumstances should they tell Homer what happened, and only the hypnotist who originally hypnotized him can undo the hypnosis.
Do not force the truth. For now, treat Homer just as you would a regular 10-year-old boy.
Great advice, except treating Homer like a regular 10-year-old isn't exactly a stretch. It's basically been their default setting all along. So Homer has to stay in Bart's room for a while, and Bart can't get used to them sleeping in the same bed. So he asks him if he could go and sleep with Marge.
I'd be too nervous. Have you noticed that she's kinda hot?
Gross, weird, complicated.
Leave it to Homer to make things awkward, because nothing says family bonding like turning bedtime into a therapy session waiting to happen. Homer and Bart start spending a lot more time together, and one day Bart asks Homer what he would want to do when he grows up. Like, would he want to have a family or a job?
Wife? 3 kids? Steady job? If I did, I'd secretly be very sad. You could tell by how much I would eat and drink.
Uh-oh, Homer knowingly nails self-awareness. Because who better to predict his future coping mechanisms than his 10-year-old self? Bart is shocked by this answer, and honestly kinda hurt.
He doesn't want to be my dad. He just wants to be a kid like me.
Bart's realization stings. Turns out sharing a bunk with your dad is one thing, but competing for kid status is a whole new level of complicated. Homer being there with Bart every second of every day has made Bart's life excessively easier. The bullies take pity on him and don't break him as much, which is always appreciated.
You saved me from the bullies. You're the coolest kid I ever met.
Homer accidentally becoming the ultimate bully shield is the best gift Bart could have hoped for. Bart and Homer have never spent this much time together. Well, ever. And they really started to bond.
You know, you're the closest thing I've ever had to a brother.
Me too.
Chief Wiggum calls Marge with the good news. They've arrested the hypnotist. Bart doesn't like the sound of that. After all, he just got the best friend he could have hoped for.
Look, Dad had to get cured sometime. There's nothing we can do about it.
Or is there? Bart takes Homer to an amusement park so he can enjoy being a kid for just a little while longer. But the police catch up to them soon enough.
Your second childhood is over. You're going back to taking statins and paying FICA.
Nothing kills the magic of a second childhood faster than the cold, hard reality of cholesterol meds and taxes. Welcome back to adulthood, Homer. Homer realizes what he must do, but he won't do it before he says goodbye to Bart.
Bye, Bart. Stay 10 forever.
Goodbye, friend.
A heartfelt farewell that proves even in the chaos of The Simpsons world, Homer and Bart can still deliver a tearjerker. The hypnotist changes Homer back, and everything is back to normal, but Bart is left feeling particularly sad. After things cooled off, Bart messes with Homer and he goes to strangle him. You know, like any father would.
You know, boy, I'm not sure I can strangle you anymore. I'm gonna try something new.
Turns out Homer's ultimate parenting plot twist isn't another chokehold, it's a hug. Bart's probably more shocked than if he'd been strangled. But strangling is something Homer should work on, and so he does. But it turns out strangling got him further than any other gentle parenting technique ever could. Marge signs Homer up for a fathering class, and the results aren't what they hoped for. Love is a many strangled thing starts with the family going to a football game. The camera pointed at them and Bart wasn't smiling or dancing, so Homer wanted to loosen him up. He started tickling him, and well...
This isn't funny!
The child has wetted his trousers!
Leave it to Homer to turn a father-son bonding moment into public humiliation, because nothing says family fun like getting called out on live camera. Homer realizes Bart will never forgive him for humiliating him like that in public.
You destroyed our son's self-esteem.
Well, it was your idea to give him self-esteem in the first place.
Marge forces Homer to go to a fathering class. Homer doesn't like the idea, but what's he gonna do, stand up to Marge? Yeah, right. While in the class, Homer slips up and says that he strangles Bart.
You're actually serious? You physically lay your hands on your boy's neck?
Homer has to realize that not everything needs to be shared in public. For example, his parenting techniques. So, next week when he shows up to class, Dr. Xander told everyone else not to come, so he can show Homer how Bart must feel when he's being strangled. He invited his friend Kareem to assist him in doing so.
Homer, it's time you understood what it feels like to be young, small, and terrified. Why, you little...
Nothing like a good old choking to understand your kid's trauma. After a few more lessons, Homer claims he's a changed man.
Dr. Xander, you made me see my life through Bart's neck, and I swear I will never, ever strangle my boy again.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Homer tells Bart that he's cured from the blind rage he puts him in and tells him to test it out.
You little...
I'll teach you to...
I'm in your head, man.
That's a creepy image. So, not only is Homer not cured, but he's also just scared out of his mind. Anytime Bart does something bad, Homer goes to strangle him, but Kareem's head appears to scare him straight. This gives Bart total and utter control over the situation, and he goes nuts.
What would your father say if he knew what you were doing?
He'd say, I'm a grown man who's scared of my own son.
Well, I don't think Homer's that scared.
How many more, sir?
And I stand corrected. The school notifies Marge about Bart's erratic behavior, and she decides to visit Dr. Xander about Bart. She sees that the counseling center has been closed, but they left a message about where they can find the employees.
So, we all live here now, along with the other unemployed luxury professionals, wedding planners, personal shoppers.
Marge tells him about Homer and Bart's problem, and he agrees to help.
I want you to guide your father safely through these cacti.
Okay, go straight. 3 steps right, 2 to the left.
I guess he didn't understand the assignment. The next exercise is way more extreme than the last.
If you hop down from that limb, I assure you Bart will cut you down.
I wouldn't bet on it, Doc. Homer jumps down and Bart is doing nothing to prevent him from, well, killing himself. The doctor can't believe that Bart could be so heartless and loses it completely.
Oh, it's so strong! It's like an oak!
You see? You see how that boy pushes your buttons?
We'll talk when he's dead!
Bart's button pushing is so advanced even a psychologist can't handle it. How's Homer supposed to be able to handle it then? Bart cuts Homer down and Homer saves him from the doctor.
Thanks, Dad.
Son, you and I are going to be closer than ever as we spend the rest of our lives suing that therapist.
Aw, nothing like a lawsuit to bring a family closer together. Homer constantly learns how to be a better father, and this next episode just proves it further, because collecting coins really isn't all that fun, but he did it for Bart. Homer wants to cheer up Bart after he didn't make the cut at Krusty's audition. All About Lisa starts with Bart auditioning to be on Krusty's show, but he loses it to Nelson. Lisa says that it isn't fair and goes to tell Krusty that he can employ Bart as his intern, so that way it wouldn't cost him anything.
Okay, kid. You've convinced me.
To make Bart a Crusketeer?
Hell no. To make you my new intern. You're a real go-getter.
Well, that surely backfired. Bart is jealous that Lisa gets to work with Krusty and not him, only he doesn't realize what a pain he is.
I can't believe you're working for Krusty and I'm not. I know everything about that clown.
Bart's jealousy knows no bounds. Because when you've got all the Krusty knowledge, clearly the only thing standing between you and fame is a little thing called common sense.
Bart's having girl trouble. You better go talk to him.
It's clown trouble. That's your responsibility.
How did clown trouble become such a common thing in the Simpson house that one of the parents had to take responsibility for it? Homer tells Bart that he should get rid of all his Krusty memorabilia so he can get over his pain. So he does. But all he gets in return is a coin collecting book.
Done. All hobbies suck, but if you keep at it, you might find at the end that you've managed to kill some precious time.
That's actually some pretty good advice. Wow, Homer, keep at it. You might just become the perfect father. So the two of them start collecting coins, and soon enough, they've managed to collect every coin in the book.
This is the first book I've ever finished reading or pushing things into.
That's not very admirable, Homer. But it seems like they missed one special coin. The Kissing Lincolns.
The one on the left looks into it, but the one on the right is just experimenting. Son, we are getting that coin.
Homer's coin collection philosophy. When in doubt, analyze the kissing president's personal lives, because nothing says collector's passion like interpreting Lincoln's romantic choices. They tried and tried, but Homer and Bart just couldn't find the missing coin.
Son, coin collecting's a lot like life. It stopped being fun a long time ago. But unlike life, I have a solution for this.
Homer's life wisdom. When things get tough, just admit it's miserable. Then find a way to force a solution, because who needs fun when you can have a fix? So Homer takes Bart to a coin auction, but unfortunately Mr. Burns buys the coin right under them. But Homer's not going to give up that easily. After all, he is doing this for his son.
I'll tell you what, at least help me buy the boy a gumball. Do you have change for a nickel?
Mr. Burns, without thinking, gives him some change. And the only missing coin. Homer and Bart complete their coin collection, and Bart is feeling much better.
And done.
Now, let's put it on a shelf and never look at it again.
You got it, boy.
What a nice thing Homer did, making his son forget about his sadness, at least for a little while. Homer's full of nice surprises. And it's no wonder he's willing to do anything for his family, even if it means dancing with a bunch of exotic dancers. Homer goes to a bachelor's party, which results in him being seen as a ladies' man, since Bart took a picture of him dancing with an exotic dancer. Homer's night out starts with Homer going to a bachelor's party, and coincidentally enough, Marge takes the kids to the restaurant right next to the party. A few days prior, Bart got a spy camera for himself, and he goes around the restaurant to see if he can take some cool pictures, when he sees... That's an interesting sight for a child, his father putting money in strippers' panties. At school, Bart joins a photographer's club, and he develops the picture he took of Homer. Other kids beg him to make them a copy, but he refuses.
You're gonna make me a print, aren't you? Will you swear not to let another living soul get a copy of this photo?
Oh, Bart, you naive boy. Soon, the photo is spread everywhere. The school, the parents, even Homer's work. The whole town of Springfield has seen Homer dance with a stripper, including Marge.
What are we laughing at?
Oh, wait till Homer comes home. He is in for a... Well, I don't want to know what Marge is going to do to him. Homer comes home and Marge greets him ever so lovingly.
What is the meaning of this?
Meaningless, Marge. Don't even attempt to find meaning in it.
Yeah, try explaining that to a woman who's shown nothing but patience for the last 10 years.
Hey, my photo.
Your photo?
Uh-oh.
Why, you little...
Why, you big...
Marge choking Homer is just to die for. Now he sees how Bart must be feeling. Marge throws Homer out, so he spends the night at Barney's. When he comes home, the kids all go to hug him since they've been missing him.
How's your mom?
Still kinda ticked off.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Oh,
Thanks, boy.
Homer's homecoming is bittersweet. Let's just hope Marge has it in her heart to forgive him again. Marge tells him that the thing she's bothered by the most is the fact that he's setting a bad example for Bart. Marge says that Bart idolizes Homer, and Homer just scoffs, saying that that is not true.
Yes, he does, Homer. And when he sees you treating women as objects, he's going to think that it's okay.
Homer's denial at its finest, when your kid looks up to you but you're too busy making excuses to realize you're shaping his views on respect, one misstep at a time. Marge tells Homer to take Bart to meet the exotic dancer and show him that she's a person and not an object. Homer and Bart spend the night trying to find Princess Cashmere, and they finally find her in one of the clubs.
I also want my boy to find out that you're more than just a belly.
She begins to tell them a bit about herself.
My pet peeve is rude people, and my turn-ons include silk sheets and a warm fireplace.
I think that's enough. Bart doesn't need to hear the rest. But as they're about to leave, Homer realizes that he's standing on a platform and his show is about to start. He falls down on the stage and everyone recognizes him from the picture.
Homer Simpson, party guy.
The show goes on and the dancers are all over Homer, but when he sees Bart looking at him, he stops the performance. He makes a PSA to all the sons out there that women are not objects. They're sisters, mothers, and real human beings with emotions, and not just curves.
I would rather feel the sweet breath of my beautiful wife on the back of my neck as I sleep.
He goes on to say that he'd rather be with Marge than be putting money in some dancer's G-string. Homer, a true poet. Marge heard the whole thing and ran into Homer's arms.
All right, folks, show's over. No more to see, folks. Come on. Only sick people want to see my folks kiss.
Homer did the unthinkable, taught his son a valuable lesson, and made his wife proud. And all in one monologue. But one thing Homer didn't manage to teach his son is that he can't be acting like there are no consequences to his actions. Well, he didn't up until this point. Homer wants to teach Bart that he's the one who's in charge and not the other way around. So he punishes him by not letting him see the new Itchy and Scratchy movie. Itchy and Scratchy the movie starts with Marge and Homer going to the parent-teacher meeting. Homer goes to Lisa's class and Marge goes to Bart's. They have two very different experiences. Bart's teacher starts by listing all the things Bart has done.
Synthesizing a laxative from peas and carrots, replacing my birth control pills with Tic Tacs.
Wow, Bart has truly reached new levels of mischief. While at Lisa's meeting, Homer gets all the praise.
I just wanted to tell you that you've done a wonderful job with Lisa. You must have read to her at a young age.
Yeah, he did read to her. He read the channel programs. Marge is being put through new levels of humiliation.
I really don't see how this helps Bart.
Just do it.
Mrs. Crabapple tells Homer and Marge that they should punish Bart when he does something bad.
He has this way of making us think we've punished him when actually we've completely caved in.
Truly, he's the kid who turns every lesson into a game of who's really in charge. The teacher continues to tell them that if they don't change anything about their discipline measures, he'll end up as a male stripper. So that's a fun comparison, for sure. When they come home, Grandpa tells them that Bart broke his teeth and Marge wants to punish him for it. So, no supper before bed.
Yeah, right. Like you're gonna let me go hungry. I'll be eating that pizza in 5 minutes.
That's a lot of confidence for someone who's about to go to bed hungry. Homer feels bad about sending Bart to bed with no food, but Marge is not going to let him cave in. And just as Bart was about to learn his lesson and start acting better, Homer comes in.
Bart, don't tell your mother, but I brought you some pizza. Just promise me you'll try to be good.
I promise.
And just as Homer turned his back...
Sucker.
Why, you little... Bart continues to do bad things, but every time Homer tries to punish him, Bart pulls one of these.
Dad, you could punish me, but that means you have to think of a punishment, sit here, and make sure I do it.
That boy sure is manipulative. The new Itchy and Scratchy movie is about to be released to theaters, and Bart and Lisa got their tickets. But as Bart was watching one of the movie commercials, Maggie slipped away.
Bart, didn't I ask you to watch Maggie?
Sounds like something you'd say. Hey, where is she?
She's a baby. She couldn't have gone far.
Oh my lord!
Maggie crashes into a prison. Thankfully, the airbags activate, but this results in some prisoners escaping. Homer realizes he has to punish Bart in the most unspeakable way.
Bart, you can't go to see that Itchy and Scratchy movie ever!
Wow, I didn't think Homer had it in him. 2 months go by and Bart is more depressed day by day. Marge and Lisa talk to Homer about letting Bart see the movie. After all, it has been 2 months.
I think we've gotten through to him.
Ah, sweet, soft-hearted Marge. You just can't see the big picture.
Homer's view on parenting. Sometimes the big picture is all about tough love, even if it means letting your kid wallow in misery a little longer. Because who needs empathy when you've got principles? Bart tries to buy a ticket in another theater, but it turns out Homer told them not to sell him the ticket. The seasons changed, but one thing didn't: Homer's mind.
After 8 months and 9 Academy Awards, the Itchy and Scratchy movie is showing for the last time.
8 months? Homer made it for 8 months?
Well, Dad, I guess you won.
No, son. we both won.
Homer tells Bart that even though he doesn't know it now, he's on the road to somewhere special. Fast forward 40 years, and Bart, who is part of the Supreme Court, and Homer are walking down the street and they say that Itchy and Scratchy is in theaters again, so they go and see it.
Which one's a mouse?
Itchy.
Itchy's a jerk.
Yeah.
I guess Bart did learn his lesson, and Homer really made sure that he never forgets it. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more Simpsons content. Comment down below which Homer and Bart moment always makes you laugh.